Chad Knapp is a die-hard Vikings fan. That's an understatement. But you would be too if you were him. He loves the game, the strategy, this team, but most importantly, he loves his family. Before the Vikings-Cowboys game, when most people were watching the NFL Network's pregame show outside U.S. Bank Stadium, Chad looks for a special legacy break.
It isn't very far up either.
With a quick silent prayer, he pays tribute to his dad.
There's nothing better than being here. I lost my dad in March. I put this brick there for us. I lost my biggest football supporter.
The loss of his father was and is tough for Chad, but he has faced adversity before. As a child, cerebral palsy confined him to a wheelchair, and although the neurological disorder has affected his physical abilities, it definitely has not affected his heart.
Don't let anybody tell you can't do something. I've been down that road. I've been, felt like you can't get back up again, and you gotta find it in yourself and surround yourself with good people, and everything happens for a reason, and it'll be all right. Just keep battling, and everything will be good.
Enter the Minnesota Vikings. As a 6-year-old kid, through a Vikings connection at his elementary school, Chad was given the opportunity to watch a game at the Metrodome, right on the field, and that's where fortune smiled on him.
Jeff George was the quarterback, Robert Smith was the running back, and Randy was split out the far side away from me, and it was play action, and Jeff George threw it as far as he could, and Randy ran underneath it and pushed the guy out of the way that was covering him, and high-stepped into the end zone and found the corner and found me.
Yep, Randy Moss handed young Chad this football. Now in a special case, the football began a deeper Vikings connection for Chad. Before you know it, he was meeting all kinds of players.
I guess a big one is Chris Carter. I can remember after the first year I went to training camp, it was Corey Stringer, Chris Carter, Randy Moss, and Dante Culpepper, and they all told me, you're going to be out of that wheelchair next summer when you come back here. And the following summer was the summer that Corey Stringer passed away of heat stroke, and I went to training camp 2 days afterwards. And I remember things were really somber. Nobody was really into things. Dennis, Coach Green, he was very loose, very letting things happen. And Chris Carter came up to me right in the middle of practice after he caught a touchdown and said, you were in a wheelchair last summer, right? And I said, yeah. And he goes, and now you're out of it. And I said, yeah. So we walked out to the 30-yard line right in the middle of practice, and I can remember. I was just a kid in a candy store. I was hanging out with Chris Carter and talking to him by myself, and I'll never forget, that he said, you're on this earth for a reason, and you might as well make it worth something.
And that brings us back to today. Now 23 years old, Chad still loves the game. Prior to the kickoff, he and his buddy Zach find their seats, grateful for spontaneity.
He actually stayed at my house, and we had talked about it, and I didn't know if I was going to go. We didn't know. And I don't know. I was half asleep and half couldn't sleep, because that's usually how I am the night before we play. And I woke up, and I was like, we need to go to the game. So I ordered tickets, and here we are. So
anything to get close to the game of football. And while he's learned and is learning about football from a host of players and coaches, he credits his mom, Becky, with just about everything else.
She's been, with everything that's gone on in the last couple years in my life, she's been every sort of parent that I've needed.
Remarried several years ago to her husband Tim, Chad's mom Becky Lee has gone to extraordinary lengths to give Chad opportunities, and that effort hasn't gone unnoticed by him.
She's been my rock my entire life. I hope to make her really, really proud one day and accomplish things. And we were actually talking in the car the other day, and she said it's finally nice that she can just watch my life happen, because she sees that I'm taking the correct steps to do what I want to do in life. and that nothing's going to stop me from doing it.
And where is he headed, you ask? Well, Chad has dreams of being a football coach himself on a number of levels. He currently coaches underclassmen back at his hometown of Parker's Prairie, but he looks forward to an opportunity to coach and to learn about coaching.
I want to coach college ball for sure. I think I've learned a lot about coaching college ball. I think it's more personal than the NFL. You have a choice of, these kids want to play for you, and you're building your own thing. I guess that's always fun to me, to get kids that want to play for you. And
Chad recently reached out to former Gopher coach Jerry Kill.
I had an opportunity to meet him last spring at a coaching clinic at NDSU, and when I met him, I had just lost my dad after that, and it took me a while to get a hold of him, to collect myself and just get everything back on track again. So I finally reached out to him a couple weeks ago, and he's at Kansas State now, and he got me in touch with the University of Minnesota and things like that. Go down there for practice, and they invited me back for spring ball in March, so we'll go down there for practice in a couple weeks, go to meetings and all that stuff, and just pick up whatever I can.
A young man with a big heart, determination, and a unique connection to the Minnesota Vikings and the game. Well, when you break it down, this connection is way more than X's and O's.
That's why this is so much more than a game. Going back to that, it's football, and this team and this organization and everything about it gave me a purpose and gave me something to look forward to when I didn't have a whole lot, being in a hospital room all the time. They gave me that, and they gave me the chance to reach for the stars, so just keep fighting. That's all you can do.
And after all, Chad's life has never been about what he can't do, but what he can. For the Voice of Alexandria, I'm Joe Kurkowski.